Hello and welcome to the Awesome 180 channel. I am Ashtin Doctor, your habit coach, and today we're going to be talking about motivation. Now, if you've heard me in the past, I call myself an anti-motivational speaker, right? Every time someone calls me a motivational speaker, no, I correct them. Anti-motivational, because I think motivation sucks, and which is why we fall back on habits. But there are some times when we should rely on motivation. Okay, and remember, if you like content like this, please don't forget to hit subscribe and the little bell icon next to it. See, what happens when we think about motivation and how do we use motivation? The problem is that half the time we are using motivation wrong, and which is why we feel that we cannot rely on it, which is why we feel that every time we put our effort into something, we give it up within a few days. And this is something that is so interesting, and this is why I still think motivation sucks. And the whole habit coaching business started from this one premise, because what I realized was when people would look at me and say, Ashtin, I wish I could do what you do, and I tell them, well, you can, what is stopping you? Their immediate reaction was, I don't have your motivation. I don't have your determination. I don't have your energy. And these excuses just started piling up and piling up. I wanted to make sure people could go through this phase in their life, make the changes without ever having to rely on motivation. So what happens? Why does motivation let us down? It's so interesting. Motivation follows a curve like this, right? It goes up, and it goes down, and it goes up, and it goes down. And that is how motivation typically functions. And we've always seen it. Sometimes we just can't get ourselves out of bed. We don't feel like doing anything. There's no point in anything. And then some days we are full of energy. We're like, I'm going to conquer this, I'm going to do that. And it is endless. This is where normally we make our life decisions. So what happens here? What are we doing wrong? You see, we are making our most important life goals, our decisions, are the things that we want to achieve right when our motivation is at its maximum. When our motivation is at its maximum, it's the worst time because it's going to come back down. And then we're going to lose interest in whatever we chose. We're going to feel that whatever we chose was pointless. Why are we doing this? There is no reason for doing it. I don't have the energy. I don't have the willpower. I don't have the motivation. All those excuses will come up. Instead, what I want you to do is notice the next time you're in a slump, you're feeling low energy, your motivation is 0, 10%, 20%, that is when you sit down and make your life choices. The times that the way you plan your exercise routine, the way you plan your sleep routine, make those changes when your motivation is at the lowest. So then what happens is on the upswing, you actually start doing it better and better and better and better, and it becomes something that becomes a part of you. So don't fall into this trap of making a decision when motivation is at its peak. Instead, make a decision when it's in the valley, down below, because there's only up after that. Okay? The reason why we follow habits is that we never have to rely on this whole motivation scheme. Because the fundamentals of habits are make it small, make it easy to do, and never miss 2 days in a row. If something's small, if something's easy to do, where do you require the motivation for doing it? Correct? So don't think about from 8 o'clock in the morning I have to now wake up at 5:30. That requires motivation. But from 8 o'clock in the morning to wake up at 7:30 doesn't require too much motivation. Maybe after a month it can become 7 o'clock. Maybe after another month 6:30. And that is how we slowly start making these changes in our life. Instead of a bombastic, huge, big change, which is what normally motivation forces you to do. Because after all, if you're going to be using motivation, make it big, make it large. Habits are far better at making a change because they're consistent. And consistency will always trump a grand gesture no matter which way you look at it. So remember, if you ever do use motivation, use it the right way, when it's at its lowest. If you don't, and you don't want to fall into this trap, learn to create your habits. Get your intention right. Listen to the podcast. Listen to all the videos that are there on this channel, because I am guiding you step by step on this habit creation process. So let motivation go to the side, or learn how to use it, and then create your habits. So what I want you to do this week, look at when your motivation is up or down. When you're feeling the lowest, think about what you want to achieve. Think about what it is that you want to create, and then do that. Set your mind to it. Put a little post-it note with that on your mirror so that you know and you get reminded about it every time you wake up in the morning. If you like tips like this, please don't forget to hit subscribe and follow us. Also, don't forget to hit like on the video and leave us a comment. I want to know what it is that you chose when you were in that valley of motivation and what you're going to do about it. Okay? I am Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach. And remember, awesome lives, they start with just awesome habits.